simplify some of these cases a little bit. And then we get around here, we'll add 2010 and up into 2020.
Great.
All right?
Sounds good, yeah.
So that's the plan.
Thank
All
you.
right, so I'll see you later.
All right, I'm gonna stick around for a few minutes.
Okay.
Look around. That looks fine. Wow. Thought I told him to fix that.
Hey, Chief, we're gonna be leaving now.
Okay, great.
I'll turn out the front lights.
Great. Have a great night.
Okay,
Thanks
good
a lot
night,
for your
Chief.
time. That's all wrong. That's not going to do at all. Hey, still working here. Please turn the lights back on. Yeah? Who's that? Please turn on the lights. Okay, not funny. Who the heck are you?
I am the ghost as members of the fire department.
All of them?
It's a short video.
Oh, Joel. Another movie.
At the stroke of midnight, you will meet a ghostly figure, an iconic figure. Welcome him. Embrace him. Listen to him.
Wait, what are you talking about? What figure? Not funny, Pete.
Midnight! Midnight!
Mind Joel, no more stupid videos. Perfect key of C.
Chief Stearns?
What?
Chief Stearns, I need to talk to you.
Again?
I don't believe we've talked before. Chief Stearns, I do believe you know who I am.
Hey, Halloween's over, but that's a great Frank Veltri costume.
I am not wearing a costume. It's me, Frank Veltri.
Hey, John, how did you change costumes so fast?
I am Frank Veltri, and I'm here to take you on a little journey. I have come here to remind people what being a plantation firefighter is all about. So we're going to take a journey together through our 60-year history. Let's go back to 1957. There were 22 of us, and we knew we could no longer continue to get our fire protection from Fort Lauderdale. The city was getting way too big for that. Do you remember Bob Browning? Here are his daughters remembering their dad and how he got the nickname Fire.
Here is truck number 1, and Daddy was part of selecting the truck when my nephew was just a little baby. Dee and I would go around the house, trying to find Daddy, who was out in the yard, and we'd scream, fire, fire. We'd call out, fire, fire, Daddy'd come run in, get us up, and go. Well, Robbie, he got into it too, calling him firefighter. Well, he thought that's what Daddy's name was. And so that's how my father got the name of firefighter. So all the grandchildren always called him our father, firefighter.
We started with very humble beginnings. Engine 1 was in the old warehouse at East Acre and Broward Boulevard, given to us by the developer building all those homes. We didn't have a lot of calls, mostly brush fires and a few vehicle fires. Then we built Station 1, right across the street, where it still stands today.
We're replacing it.
Why?
Well, it's old and small and falling apart.
Too small? Does it have a roof? Does it have a floor? Does it have lights? It's perfectly fine. Why are you spending money for a new fire station?
Have you seen our new trucks?
Maybe you just need smaller trucks. Well, Engine 3 was a really big truck compared to Engine 1, but it still fit in the station. As a matter of fact, all our trucks fit until Don Vanderlinde came along and ordered trucks that were too big for the stations. We had to wait for Stations 4 and 5 to be built just to put the trucks in them.
Vanderlinde and Son won the contract and built Fire Station number 2.
Our house was under construction at the time he was putting an addition on, and the trusses had just been set. And I remember him running out of the house, and that a few minutes later he comes back in, and he's got a big splinter in his cheek where he ran into one of the trusses, and it went in his cheek and out close to his nose. And he asked my mother to remove it so he could continue on to the fire, and she flatly refused and made him go to the hospital and get it taken out by a doctor.
When the police departments confiscated a large amount of marijuana and the fire department helped burn it behind the American Express building out off of Pine Island Road. I remember riding to a fire in the fire chief's car doing 120 miles an hour and blowing the right rear tire. We got to the shoulder safe. Engine 6 stopped, picked us up, and we all got in the truck and went on the rest of the way to the fire.
Chief Vanderlinde was here at the time. His chief's car was a station wagon at the time. It was kind of old and beat up. He went out in front of us. We went out behind him, and we went down to 5th Street and 70th Avenue at the time. It had a big hump in it. He went over the hump, and the vehicle went airborne. When he came back down, we saw smoke billowing out of the chief's car. When we get out, we run up to the chief's car, and come to find out what happened was when he went over that bump, the dry chemical fire extinguisher dislodged and activated. And the entire inside of his station wagon was filled with dry chemical powder, and it was coming out the windows, and he was white as a ghost with all the powder all over him.
But the biggest change happened in 1996. We added the EMS division. You know, I didn't want to do it because it was going to destroy the volunteers. I even went to the county commission and offered to pay cash for another EMS truck in the city. But they wouldn't do it. I had no choice. The city was too big for one ambulance. Then in 1996, we had a big fire over the town mall on Broward Boulevard. Oh, did the volunteers take a beat from the unions over that. But in the end, it turned out they did a really good job. You know, also in 1996, we moved Chief Pudney and his crew into the new administration building. And we opened Station 6 out there on Hiatus Road and Sunrise Boulevard.
My father owned a construction company, and Chief Putney actually worked for my father as a construction estimator, and that's how Bob got into the department, was through my father.
Good evening, Plantation Fire Department. Congratulations on your 60th anniversary. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Bob Pudney, and I joined your department in 1972, probably before some of you were even born. I served as a fire chief for a number of years, and when I started, we had 1 fire station and 2 fire trucks and 20 members, and that was it. We used to ride on the back of the truck, holding on to the bar above the tailboard, and now we can't do that any longer.
In 2006, we held the 50th annual barbecue. I told everyone I was going to retire as head chef after 50 years. You know, I made it to that barbecue. 50 years, and I made every one.
Well, you know, Mayor, we've done a lot since then. 2017. Look what we've accomplished.
I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, so you couldn't wipe off that grin. I know it.
Well, I am so excited to be able to present this $1.5 million appropriation for a brand new fire station here in Plantation.
Smile! Know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, well, I've been waiting.
all have kept the spirit of the department alive. I know these men who started this all would be very proud of you and all of your people. So, on behalf of them, thank you.
No, thank you and all the members of the department that started this. Marty Trezou. Dave Fernley.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the department and the city of Plantation for asking us to participate in this 60th anniversary video presentation. It has made me remember many things about my father and the department that I'd forgot. The funny things and also some very emotional things. God bless you all as first responders. Thank you again.
When Chief Gordon sent me a list of questions he wanted me to answer, I read through them and I said, nah, don't want to do that. So what I want to tell you is, in the future, remember those who came before you, build on their foundation, and always push that great organization of yours, the Plantation Fire Department, forward. And remember, always go big early. Thank you and have a good night.
Students are getting ready to do is they're going to be extinguishing fire with a CO2 extinguisher first. You're gonna look. It just reminds us we're building that muscle memory. You and that kid are going to go somewhere. All right.
Take over.
My hair okay?
Stop.
You heard it here first, folks. They do nothing around here. Absolutely nothing. There's 2 people dead over there, hopped up on some who knows what bath salts, and they're just standing around having a meeting, and they don't want to even take a selfie.